4 cop cars blocked the intersection behind me, guns drawn. Next thing I know, I'm laying on the asphalt, handcuffed, thrown in jail. Everything just seemed like this only happens in the movies. I told myself I will never leave my livelihood in somebody else's hands ever again. So with that, I looked at these parts that were in my garage, and they were blemished, they were broken, they'd been cast out. And I saw a reflection of myself in these parts. And I thought to myself, what if I can take these and I can make something useful out of them? And Rensmart Gliding was born. It's not just you against your opponent, it's you against yourself. And if you do the hard work, preparation, the discipline, you do the things that aren't always fun to do, but you do them like you love them, you can have success in boxing. I'm Adam Gensler, and I'm a legacy maker because I'm betting everything on myself. No risk, no story.
From a coal miner's son to Friday night football, Adam's childhood was built on grit. He learned early that hard work was the family's true inheritance.
My dad was a coal miner, and my mom was a teller at a bank, blue-collar work. I actually worked underground for a little bit, and when I did that, I saw how hard it was. I saw Dad did that for our family, and I think that's his legacy, is that he sacrificed his hard work for his family.
Since childhood, he'd been fascinated by boxing, thanks to the nights spent watching fights with his dad.
Dad always used to watch boxing on Saturday nights, and my sister and I would always try and roughhouse with him. There was a really great fight on one night. It was Oscar De La Hoya and Julio Cesar Chavez, and it was such an action-packed fight. I ended up just sitting beside Dad and actually watching a fight for once. From that moment on, I watched boxing with Dad. On the outskirts of Paonia was Mount Lambert, and where I grew up, in the subdivision I grew up in, it was right nestled up against Mount Lambert. It was like my backyard. My friends were like my brothers and sisters, and their parents were like my parents. High school football was a big deal in Paonia, and the high school team played every Friday night down at the park and under the lights. My friends and I were all little kids, and we would have our own football game going just outside of the west end zone.
By the time Adam turned 18, he was already deep into the grind as an electrician, learning the demands of long hours and tough work.
At that time, I thought that the right thing to do would be to just settle down and find a good job. I started working as an electrician, and I did gain some good skills from this. Being an electrician it's hard work, mentally and physically. We did everything from wiring houses to commercial buildings to industrial projects. Each one of those fields has a unique skill set that you need to learn with it. And the more you learn, the better you get. What I didn't realize at the time, though, is that if you don't have a plan for yourself, you're probably going to be a part of somebody else's plan.
Even with a full-time job, boxing had become his main focus and the passion that drove him forward.
I never even thought I would have one fight, but it turns out I was actually really good at it. So we were hosting the Colorado USA Boxing State Tournament that year, and I was the reigning middleweight champion. I'd gotten really good, and because of that, the bigger cities in Denver, Colorado Springs, they didn't even bring somebody to fight me. So essentially I had to walk over to the Four Corner Regional. But Alex always had a way of testing his fighters. So he scheduled a show bout between myself and Utah's light heavyweight state champion. This was an action-packed fight. It was the main event, and I won in front of my hometown crowd. This guy was more talented than I was, but I won that fight on an idea that Alex had, that I didn't have to be phenomenally skilled as long as I was phenomenally willed.
After a tough defeat to Caleb Plant, Adam chose to end his boxing career on a good note, proud of what he had achieved.
Caleb Plant was a phenomenal fighter. He would actually go on to fight Canelo Alvarez later on in his career. I fought Caleb Plant in the quarterfinals at the Olympic Training Center, and this was a guy that threw combination punches with intention behind each punch. He beat me 17-3. he beat me pretty bad. After the fight was over, I told Alex, I said, Alex, I hit him way more than 3 times. And Alex just kind of laughed at me and he said, well, he hit you way more than 17 times. And so we just had a good laugh about it. And at that point, I knew my boxing career was over. I wasn't going to turn pro. And I felt like I ended on a good note. I was ranked 7th in the nation for about 6 months, and it was a good experience. Boxing showed me that it's not just you against your opponent, it's you against yourself. And if you do the hard work, preparation, the discipline, you do the things that aren't always fun to do, but you do them like you love them, you can have success in boxing.
But even that foundation couldn't shield Adam from the blows still to come. Adam was thrown to the ground, arrested, and left with no one who believed him.
So I just gotten off work. It was about 8:30 at night, and I just pulled onto my street. Immediately, 4 cop cars blocked the intersection behind me, guns drawn. Next thing I know, I'm laying on the asphalt, handcuffed, thrown in jail. Although those charges were dismissed after a few months, at that time, you could say that was a tough week. It didn't matter what I said. They didn't believe me. And when nobody believes you, you have to start finding some belief in yourself, because you can't change what happened in the past. Being arrested, having to go through the court system, being fired from my career, those are things I can't change. But what Joe Dispenza tells you is that if you can put your problems and your pains in the past, then you can create a future where those things don't exist anymore. So I had to start focusing in the present on the things that I could change. And that led me down this path.
From broken brass to broken dreams, Adam discovered both could shine again. From his garage, wrench-marked Lighting was born.
Yeah, I'd just been fired from my job. I told myself I will never leave my livelihood in somebody else's hands ever again. So with that, I looked at these parts that were in my garage, and they were blemished, they were broken, they'd been cast out. And I saw a reflection of myself in these parts. And I thought to myself, what if I can take these and I can make something useful out of them? Wrench-marked Lighting was born. Wrench-marked Lighting is a company that manufactures light fixtures and lamps. I have 2 different styles of lamps. I have functional lamps, and I have a limited edition It's Time for a Drink lamp line, and that will actually pour you a drink. The light fixtures that I manufacture are functional to the areas that they're designed to be installed in. This creates my mission for Art That Functions, in that one of the main characteristics of Wrench-marked Lighting is you can take a old, blemished, broken piece of brass, you can do the hard work to it, and you can make it shine again. I think that's something that we can all relate to as people.
Adam risked everything, cashing out his retirement, starting over with nothing but spare parts.
When I tell people that I cashed out my retirement for Wrench-marked Lighting, people have a hard time wrapping their head around it. For me, it was never a thought though. I thought to myself, even if I do live long enough for retirement age, what do I have to look forward to? For me, the time was now, and I came into it with the idea of no risk, no story. I think that the true artist designs something for themselves. When I designed the functional lamp, I looked at my nightstand and I saw that it was cluttered up. I thought to myself, I should make a lamp that will hold my cell phone, that will hold a cup, that has a clock, that has an outlet to charge my cell phone, and that even functions as a light. The idea is that you put that on your nightstand and it will actually free up space. A lot of the pieces that I use, I actually manipulate with tools. I cut them, I solder them back together in unique positions, and that means a lot to me because I'm putting my own influence, my own style on my work. Some of my functional lamps, the limited edition line, they can take up to 2 weeks to make one lamp. But we're talking a lamp here that will pour you a drink, has multiple valves that act as switches that illuminate your bottle, they illuminate a light bulb atop the lamp, they illuminate a light bulb in a spigot on the lamp. These are conversation pieces, to say the least. Immediate goals for Wrench-marked Lighting would be to start getting lights out into showrooms. Get my lights out there, get them into the hands of interior designers, get them into commercial spaces and show them off. The end goal for Wrench-marked Lighting is to hire employees to build the lights, and I can continue to build the functional lamps and the limited edition It's Time for a Drink lamp line. There's a Muhammad Ali quote that talks about impossible, and it goes like this. It goes, "Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it." That sometimes when we're faced with what seems like is an impossible situation, it's really just disguised as an opportunity for transformation and growth as a person. I have 3 questions that you got to ask yourself. How bad do you want it? What are you willing to give up? Do you know that nobody's coming to save you? Nobody's coming to save you. It's just you.
Today, Adam's lights shine across rooms and his message is clear. What you have is all you need.
Rensbar gliding is an idea of what you have is all you need. I had some spare parts laying around, and I had my hands and my head and my heart. I think everything else is just material. What you have is all you need. One word to describe my journey would be resilience. Facing problems head on, absorbing the impact, and then rising again. I know I made a lot of mistakes, but I know that I also learned from my mistakes. And that's something that helped me out through the years. I think that we can scale that up to failure versus success, and that we don't even know what our successes are unless we have something to measure them against. I think that failure gives success a measurable value. I'm Adam Gensler, and I'm a legacy maker because I'm betting everything on myself. No risk, no story.